Hello. Good name. Yes, this voice thing has been taken care of now. I hope, are you getting any voice? Please comment. Are you getting? Okay, thank you. So we will start this session. The first question says, recently this this digital personal data protection bill has been passed by both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and it has been sent to the President assent. So based on this, question may come in your upcoming mains. So you should know what are the features and what are the provisions in the bill and what are the safeguards are there in this bill, right? So based on that, this question has been framed. The digital personal data protection bill recognizes both the rights of individual to protect their personal data and need to process such personal data for lawful purposes. So this is one part. The second part is, in this respect, write the principle of the bill. In second part, you have to write the principles of the bill, and in third part, what are the safeguards in the bill. So mainly there are three parts, but you will mostly focus on the part number second and part number third, right? 10 marker question only, you have to write only in 150 words. So what would you write in the introduction? जब बात आती है डिजिटल डाटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल की, so this issue has been since 5-6 years, right? And on the recommendation of the B.N. Sri Krishna committee, initially this data protection bill was drafted, right? So you should use this B.N. Sri Krishna committee name. Then this is regarding right to privacy also. Article 21, it has been provided by the Puttaswamy judgment, right? So you can also mention this in your introduction. ठीक है, तो इंट्रोडक्शन में आप इस तरह से बना सकते हैं. मेन बॉडी में 3 पार्ट लगभग बनेगा, जो मेनली 2 पार्ट बनेंगे. वी विल सी दैट. एंड इन कंक्लूजन व्हाट कैन यू डू, कि देयर शुड बी, इफ द बिल कम्स अप, देयर शुड बी प्रॉपर इंप्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ द बिल. मींस यू विल मेक योर कंक्लूजन फ्यूचरिस्टिक एंड ऑप्टिमिस्टिक इन नेचर, कि अगर ये प्रॉपर्ली इंप्लीमेंट होता है तो इट विल बी अ विन विन सिचुएशन बोथ फॉर गवर्नमेंट एज वेल एज फॉर द सिटीजन ऑफ कंट्री, राइट? So on this note you can conclude. On how to think part, how do you think? Means if you have to think, means the principles of the bill. So it has been in the news since 5-6 years. You already know what are the principles of bill. Means there should be data collection by the appropriate authority. Data collection should be in the proper manner, right? Data collection should be up till the time it has been allowed. After this, the data should be deleted. So right to be forgotten. All these things will be coming under the principles of the bill. And there are several safeguards in the bill. For example, what this data fiduciary will do, right? Plus, what are the other safeguards related to children, related to other citizens of the India. So all those safeguards you need to write in the second part of the question, right? So this will cover your main body, right? If you see now in the introduction, as we have talked, you can frame this introduction like this, like the digital personal data protection bill is based on the B.N. Sri Krishna committee recommendation. It will ensure the fundamental right to privacy under Article 21 established by the Puttaswamy judgment. It will help in protecting data and processing personal data for the purpose. Now this is very much important, this line, to connect your introduction with the theme of the question, right? Do not just dump information in the introduction, you should also connect the introduction with the theme of the question, right? Then in the main body, the first part, the statement part of the question, on this you can write what are the objective of the bill, because it has already explained it, right, that the digital personal data protection bill will recognize both the rights of the individual to protect their personal data and the need to process such personal data for lawful purposes. So what is the objective, main objective of the bill? Main objective of the bill is to protect the data and process it in effective manner, and it should be the lawful manner, right? And once this bill has come up, it will be helpful for the economy also. It will establish the ease of doing business, right? So introduction of the data, it will minimize the disruption, plus ensuring the necessary change in the way data fiduciary process changes. Right now what is happening, whatever this data fiduciary is doing, whatever these companies are doing, whatever this government are doing with your data, you do not know what they are doing, right? So after this bill comes up, you will have lots of rights. As a citizen you will have lots of rights, plus as a government also, they will have the legal right to do something with your data, right? But it should be lawful only. So these are the objective of the bills. It also enables the digital economy, because if data is secure, if data is safe in an economy, it can boost the economy, right? Because every data is the new oil, everything is dependent on the data itself, right? Okay. Then come to the second part, this one, the principles of the bill. So you can just think of what can be the principle of, just now we have discussed that the principles can be that it should be consented. Without consent, without your consent, there should not be the data should not be taken from you. Then it should be lawful, it should be there should be transparent use of the personal data. Then we have the principles of purpose limitation. Only for the purpose for which the data has been collected, it will be used. So this is the principle of purpose of the limitation. Then principle of the data minimization, only that much data will be collected which is very much required, right? Not that everything around the world, whatever you are doing, what are you eating, what are you drinking, everything will not be taken. Only those data will be taken which is very much required. Then the principle of data accuracy, whatever the data is being collected, that should be accurate enough. There should not be any misleading facts on this. And we have the principle of storage limitation, data can only be stored till the time it is allowed, right? The concerned authority will be there, and for every data there will be some time limitations, that this will be that data will be allowed for that period only. So you will have right to be forgotten, right? Then the principle of reasonable security safeguard is also means data should be safe and secured, because let's say कि some people's medical history is being collected, right? Based on that medical history, some other person can exploit that person, right? Therefore it is very much necessary that the data which is being collected, which are collected, is safeguarded and it should be secured enough, है ना? तो ये होना चाहिए. Then प्रिंसिपल ऑफ अकाउंटेबिलिटी होनी चाहिए. जो लोग आपका डाटा कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, the person who are collecting your data, they should be accountable for your data, that it should not be misused, or if there is any breach, or if there is some kind of misuse, then in that case that person should be held accountable, and if that person is found to be guilty, then that person should be punished. So based on all these principles, this bill has been brought, right? Then the next thing is the last part. What are the safeguards in the bill? So there are few safeguards the data fiduciary will have to following. These kinds of obligations. And who are data fiduciary? Data fiduciary are those person who are capable of collecting your data. They are who are capable of storing your data, right? So those person are the data fiduciary. Data fiduciary will have the obligation just like the principles which you have read. So all these principles will be fulfilled. It will be obligations on the data fiduciary to follow such principles, right? Like to have the security safeguards, है ना? Then to intimidate personal data breaches to the affected data principals and data protection board. So there will be two more authority, that is data principal and the data protection board. And if there is any kind of the breach, if there is any kind of breaches, then in that case this data fiduciary will be intimidating to such authority, right? Then to erase the personal data when it is no longer needed, right, to be forgotten. So this will be ensured by the data fiduciary. To erase personal data upon the withdrawal of the consent. Most of your data will be taken if you consent on the bill, if you consent for those data. So once you take back your consent, then this data fiduciary do not have any right to collect your data, do not have any right to store your data. The data collection can be for the limited time period only, right? So if you withdraw your consent, then in that case the person, the data fiduciary will have to erase your data. Then to have the place grievance redressal system, if for example you have told them to delete your data, but अभी भी कोई नहीं कर रहा delete, तो उस केस में क्या करेंगे आप? You will go to the grievance redressal and from that authority you will seek the grievance redressal, right? So these were the safeguards under the data fiduciary. Other safeguards are related to children. Means children से अगर किसी चिल्ड्रेन का डाटा कलेक्ट करना है तो सबसे पहले क्या होगा कि उनके पेरेंट से या गार्जियन से कंसेंट लेना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज चिल्ड्रेन आर नॉट एलिजिबल टू गिव कंसेंट. उनको तो पता ही नहीं है कि क्या डाटा है, क्या नहीं है, क्या सही है, क्या गलत है, राइट? सो the process to personal data collection of the children only with the parental consent and not without them, right? And it does not permit the processing which is detrimental to the well-being of the children or involve the trafficking behavior or targeted advertising. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that the children is being exploited, children is being trafficked. Under Article 24 of the Constitution, you have anti-trafficking for the children. So the fundamental rights of the children should not be violated, right? So based on this, you can write that. So these are the safeguards related to Digital Data Protection Bill. How can you conclude? Obviously, you should conclude in a positive manner. You should conclude in an optimistic manner. See, unless and until some bill comes and it has been put into the execution for 2-3 years, it has been implementing since 2-3 years, and after 2-3 years it has been found that the bill or the this act has not been amended properly. तो उस केस में आपको अगर कोई क्रिटिसिज्म लिखना है तो लिख सकते हो. अभी तो ये बिल के टाइम पे ही आ रहा है, राइट? तो on this bill you can be optimistic, you can be futuristic, or conclusion reflects your personality also. Therefore you should be optimistic, and that you can write that this Digital Personal Data Protection Bill is a right step in ensuring data privacy. Once the bill becomes act, it may bring win-win situation for the government as well as citizen. If its proper implementation will ensure protection of the data and safe processing of data only for the lawful purposes. Because इतने सारे obligations हैं किस पे? डाटा fiduciary पे. इतने सारे safeguards हैं, इतने अच्छे principles हैं. So we should be hopeful that this data protection will be implemented in proper manner. So these are the concepts you should be knowing, and फॉर द, हो सकता है कि जब तक आप लोग एग्जाम देने जाओगे तब तक ये एक्ट बन जाएगा, तो ज्यादा चांसेस हैं कि इस पे आपका एक क्वेश्चन बन सकता है. In any paper in GS3 also they can ask, but most likely they will be asking in the GS2 itself, right? Professor Sahab, how is this bill different from this European bill? Why do you want to know, right? This is not a comparative politics. Why do you want to know? Why are you wasting your energy for such things? है ना, अपना जो डाटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल आया है इसके बारे में पढ़ो, इसके बारे में ज्यादा नॉलेज रखो. Then come to question number 2. Please read it. So the second question says that write the salient feature of the government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2023 or the Delhi Service Bill and discuss how it has the potential to impact the federal structure of the Delhi. Right? तो इसका एक बैकग्राउंड है, उसके बेसिस पे ये क्वेश्चन ये न्यूज में था और उसके बेसिस पे ये क्वेश्चंस सेट किया गया है, राइट. सबसे पहले तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट आया. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में ये केसेस थे वेदर दिस पोस्टिंग एंड ट्रांसफर ऑफ सिविल सर्वेंट्स इट कैन बी डन बाय दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट और नॉट. प्लस whatever the services, who can control that, who can make laws on that, right? The Supreme Court said that this Delhi government being an elected government, they have the power and they have the power to transfer, posting in all these things related to the civil servants who are posted in the Delhi, right? They also have the power to make any laws, any frame, any rules वगैरह on the basis, on the matter of services, except 3 items which is not in the favor of the Delhi government, like the land, law and order, all these situations. So this was the Supreme Court judgment. The elected government of the Delhi government was given more authority, was given more power, but then center didn't like it. So they brought this National Capital Territory of the Delhi ordinance first. First in the ordinance first it came and it overturned the judgment of the Supreme Court, right? So it overturned the judgment of the Supreme Court और यहाँ पे आया कि now this Lieutenant Governor of the Delhi will be the sole authority who will be deciding all these questions, right? And there will be one committee whose member will be Chief Minister of Delhi and other 2 secretaries, right? One Chief Secretary, one Principal Secretary of the Delhi. So this committee 3-member committee will be recommending to the Lieutenant Governor, and the Lieutenant Governor will have complete discretion over the posting and transfer वगैरह of the civil services, plus all the services, on all matter of services in the Delhi government, it should be framed by the whom? This Lieutenant Governor will be the sole authority, right? So this was in the ordinance. So obviously it overturned the Supreme Court judgment. Then this ordinance was heavily criticized across India, right? Then what happened? This government ordinance, you must be knowing that ordinance need to pass through this house, right? Parliament. Ordinance need to pass through Parliament, only then it becomes act after the signing of President, right? तो इतना ज्यादा क्रिटिसिज्म हुआ तो फिर ये सर्विसेज वाला जो पार्ट था ना वो वाला इन्होंने ड्रॉप कर दिया सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने, बट स्टिल दिस द पोस्टिंग एंड ट्रांसफर वगैरह ऑफ द सिविल सर्वेंट, ये वाला पोर्शन अभी भी इन्होंने बिल के अंदर लेके आ गया, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ नेशनल कैपिटल टेरिटरी अमेंडमेंट बिल 2023, राइट. And therefore it is in the question that it may impact the federal structure of the Delhi because it is not in line with the Supreme Court judgment, and elected government of the elected Delhi government is being superseded by the lieutenant governor who is being appointed by the president, right. So this is the situation and this is the issue. So based on this question is there. So write the salient feature of the government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill. तो एक तो first part you will be writing the salient features and discuss how it has potential to impact the federal structure of the Delhi. So this will be the second part. So basically two part will be there, right. What would you write in the introduction? You can write the contextual introduction. You can write what are the context of the bill is there, right, and what are the criticism is being followed. Then in main body two part will be there, we will be seeing this. Then in the conclusion what can you write? You can write in line with the Supreme Court judgment, right, कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट को ज्यादा ऑटोनॉमी देना चाहिए, राइट. अगर आप इसी तरह से सबका पावर छीनते रहोगे तो फिर मीन्स इलेक्टेड गवर्नमेंट की ऑटोनॉमी खत्म हो जाएगी, राइट. सो दिस फीचर्स ऑफ द बिल एंड नाउ दिस इज समथिंग विच यू विल नॉट नो बिफोर हैंड. आपको पता होगा तभी आप लिख पाओगे, क्योंकि इस फीचर के अंदर क्या है, ऐसा कोई जनरल फीचर्स नहीं है, वो स्पेसिफिक फीचर्स ही हैं. जब आपको इस बिल के बारे में पता होगा तो हाउ टू थिंक वाले पार्ट में ना आप ऐसा कोई गेस नहीं कर सकते, राइट. तो यू शुड बी नोइंग दिस. एनीवन ऑनलाइन प्लीज कमेंट.